As the morning fog embraced Main Street in Hyannis, a remarkable sight emerged from the mist. 6 majestic German shepherds moving with an elegance and precision that captivated all. Their powerful bodies moved in unison, eyes sharp and watchful, embodying strength and grace. The crowd gazed in awe, curious about who could command such a magnificent pack. And then, whispers of amazement filled the air. It wasn't a seasoned trainer or a police officer at the helm of this extraordinary display. It was a child, a petite girl no more than 6 years old. Despite her delicate frame, she radiated an undeniable strength, flanked by the protective guardians that seemed to understand her every soft command. With just a gentle word or a subtle wave of her tiny hand, the dogs would pause, pivot, or march in perfect harmony. A skeptical onlooker, Eleanor Peterson, squinted, her voice laced with doubt. "There's something unusual about this," she murmured. "A child controlling those dogs? It just doesn't add up. We need to look closer." Unbeknownst to the crowd, Eleanor's curiosity would spark a journey that revealed truths more profound and breathtaking than anyone in Hyannis could have fathomed. If you're enjoying this story, please like and share your thoughts in the comments along with your city. Let's delve deeper. Emma Thompson wasn't always the quiet girl who orchestrated her canine companions with such finesse. Born to Mark and Sarah Thompson, esteemed dog trainers who collaborated with police departments throughout New England, Emma's early life was a vibrant tapestry woven with laughter and love, where dogs were cherished family members. Her parents recognized Emma's extraordinary talent when, at just 3 years old, she could soothe their most challenging rescue dog with the lightest touch. But everything changed on a stormy October evening in 2090 when a tragic accident took her parents from her, leaving her physically unharmed, yet emotionally shattered. In the depths of her grief, Emma found solace in the company of her beloved dogs, retreating into a world where her whispers were heard. Doctors later diagnosed her with mild autism, shedding light on her deep bond with animals and the struggle to reconnect with humanity. Life with her loving grandparents, Robert and Martha Thompson, in their charming yet weathered Cape Cod house became Emma's new beginning. At 74 and 72, they faced the noble challenge of nurturing a traumatized 6-year-old while caring for their energetic pack of 6 German shepherds: Max, Bella, Duke, Luna, Shadow, and Rex. Despite Robert's heart condition and Martha's arthritis making it difficult to manage the dogs, their love for Emma and the animals remained unwavering. They stretched their fixed income to cover food for the lively pack and Emma's special therapy sessions, determined to keep the family together, cherishing the last connection to her parents. Behind the peeling blue door of the Thompson home, a beautiful bond began to blossom. Emma discovered her parents' old training journals in the attic, filled with commands and personal notes about each dog's unique personality. Night after night, she immersed herself in these pages by flashlight, absorbing the timeless wisdom of her parents. With patience and love, she developed her own language of subtle hand signals, soft whistles, and gentle touches that the dogs responded to with remarkable precision. When Martha's back pain made daily walks a struggle, Emma made a heartfelt decision. One sunny morning, she clipped each dog's leash to her belt and confidently led them down the porch steps, ready to embrace the world together. As Emma embarked on a journey that would soon capture hearts and inspire her small coastal town, the first time she walked her 6 dogs through downtown Hyannis, the sight was breathtaking. Cars slowed to a crawl, drivers gazing in awe at this remarkable procession. At the forefront was Max, the gentle giant, leading the way with grace and strength. Emma, with her bright red sneakers peeking from beneath the furry mass, walked with quiet determination. Initially, she chose the serene side streets of the park, but as her confidence blossomed, so did her adventures. By the 3rd week, her morning ritual had evolved, and she confidently strolled down Main Street, drawing crowds of admirers who eagerly set their watches, eager for her presence. "Would you look at that?" marveled Frank Delaney, the hardware store owner, as he paused to unlock his shop. "Those dogs listen to that little girl better than my teenagers listen to me." His sentiment echoed throughout the town. Smartphones captured Emma's impressive ability to guide her pack through intricate maneuvers, videos spreading like wildfire among residents. With a gentle gesture, she directed 3 dogs left and 3 right, reuniting them seamlessly at the corner. When she paused at crosswalks, the dogs formed a protective semicircle, their loyalty unwavering till she gave the signal to proceed. The initial buzz was one of admiration, as tourists eagerly asked for pictures with the town's very own dog whisperer, though Emma remained focused on her beloved animals, embodying the essence of connection. In a heartwarming display of community spirit, local business owners placed water bowls outside their shops, creating a welcoming atmosphere for Emma and her furry friends. Officer James Connolly, who initially kept a watchful distance to ensure safety, soon found himself enchanted by Emma's remarkable bond with her pack. In my 20 years on the force, I've never seen K9 units so disciplined, he shared with pride. Inspired by Emma's unique connection, the local bakery began saving bone-shaped treats just for her dogs, while K-Cod Coffee prepared steaming hot chocolate, a special treat for Emma's morning walks. Though her grandmother usually collected it later, she smiled apologetically, explaining that Emma prefers not to accept gifts from strangers. Meanwhile, Eleanor Peterson, watching the growing celebrity from behind her Venetian blinds, felt a stirring unease, wondering about the dynamics unfolding in her neighborhood. Mrs. Eleanor Peterson, a retired elementary school principal and self-proclaimed guardian of community standards, felt it was her duty to keep an eye on things. Timing Emma's walks, she noted the child appeared unsupervised for about 45 minutes each morning. "Where are her grandparents?" she questioned her husband, who had learned by now that such queries often went unanswered. "Those dogs could turn on her or someone else in an instant. This is negligence." Yet Mrs. Peterson's concerns found traction among a small group of Hyannis residents. Margaret Wilson, who once had a frightful encounter with one of Emma's shepherds, began crossing the street whenever they approached, showcasing the complex tapestry of concern and admiration woven throughout the community. In the heart of our community, a little girl named Emma became the center of a whirlwind of concern. Rumors began to swirl when she didn't show up for the town's beloved annual Easter egg hunt. But rather than focusing on the joy of the season, whispers of neglect emerged, igniting a passionate response among neighbors. Mrs. Peterson, driven by a desire to rally the community, invited everyone to her porch for concerned citizens' coffee hours. These gatherings, intended to foster connection, turned into heated discussions about Emma and her elderly grandparents. The Maytown Council meeting soon became a reflection of this division, as townsfolk filled the historic hall, eager to share their thoughts, all while Emma's story lingered in the air like an unanswered question. Mayor Williams stood before the crowd, sensing the tension and striving to keep order. As voices rose, local business owner Michael Gallagher spoke passionately. "For 15 years, my restaurant has welcomed families who come to enjoy their meals while catching a glimpse of our beloved dogs," he shared, with sleeves rolled up, revealing his vibrant tattoos. His words ignited applause from supporters, while on the other side, Diane Fuller voiced her heartfelt concerns, her hands gripping her designer purse. "My grandson faced a traumatic experience with dogs last year. Shouldn't his safety be a priority?" The chamber crackled with energy as both sides expressed their beliefs, igniting a dialogue about parenting, safety, and community values. The discussion unfolded for over 2 hours, revealing deeper issues within the community. As thoughts flowed, it became clear that this was more than just about leash laws. It was about how we embrace differences. Veterinarian Tom Stanley highlighted the remarkable intelligence and trainability of German Shepherds, while insurance agent Patricia Moore brought forward data on potential liabilities. Though the ordinance remained unchanged, the lines of compassion and understanding were drawn. That Sunday, Pastor Richards delivered a poignant sermon at First Baptist Church, touching on the theme of embracing the unfamiliar around us. Without naming Emma, his words resonated deeply, reminding us all of the importance of love, acceptance, and unity in our community. At St. Mary's Catholic Church in Frosttown, Father Donovan shared heartfelt words about the importance of protecting our most vulnerable. The Hyannis Oracle newspaper ignited a passionate dialogue in the community, with editorials sparking robust discussions. Meanwhile, at Seaside Elementary, the spirit of childhood shone brightly as children played Emma and the dogs, each wanting to embody the beloved character. Despite the chaos around her, little Emma remained blissfully unaware, her heart and attention solely devoted to her loyal canine friends. As she moved through the town, she was a gentle presence, a beacon of innocence amidst the divided voices, her connection with her furry companions providing her with unwavering support and love. Eleanor Peterson discovered her inner champion as she sat at her antique writing desk, passionately drafting a petition to ensure Emma Thompson's safety and the well-being of the Hyannis community. Her years of dedication as an elementary school teacher shone through in her meticulous handwriting as she collected signatures, hoping to amplify the community's voice. 27 signatures were a solid start, but she knew she needed more to create a powerful call for action. "Charles," she called out, her enthusiasm bubbling over, "I need your help to take me to the senior center after lunch. I'm going to enlist Jackson Promise to connect me with her bridge club." Charles Peterson, with a knowing smile, lowered his newspaper. After 46 years of marriage, he had learned to admire his wife's fierce determination. "Eleanor, do you think this might be a bit much? That Thompson child hasn't caused any problems yet." Eleanor straightened up with purpose. "Not yet, Charles. Do we wait until a tragedy strikes? Or until someone gets hurt?" she pressed. "Those grandparents are overwhelmed, and it's neglect, plain and simple. If no one else will step up to protect that child, I will." By the week's end, Eleanor's campaign gained remarkable traction. Her petitions circulated through church groups, beauty salons, and the country club, rallying the community together. She enlisted the support of Margaret Wilson and Diane Fuller, transforming her mission into a united effort for Emma's safety and a brighter future for all. In a remarkable show of community spirit, they created a phone tree to keep everyone informed about Emma's walking schedule. Supporters diligently followed, documenting each moment, whether it was when a dog strayed a bit too far from Emma or when she crossed the street, reminding everyone of the importance of safety. Eleanor's brilliance shone at the Rotary Club luncheon, where she stood confidently during the open comment period. "We have a crucial situation in our town that needs our attention," she began, her voice resonating with the authority she had honed over the years. She painted a vivid picture of a community united in concern, capturing the hearts of everyone present. Her heartfelt words motivated Bernard Whitaker, the club president and a local insurance agency owner, to step forward. "My company cannot insure a household with such a risk," he asserted, enthusiastically sharing Eleanor's petition with others at the table. "I'll reach out to my cousin at Child Services this afternoon." Eleanor's mission gained tremendous momentum as Councilwoman Victoria Harrington, a prominent figure in the community, recognized the opportunity to support the cause, publicly commending the citizens for their dedication to safety and promising to review existing regulations. The air was charged with hope as Councilwoman Harrington emphasized the importance of protecting the community, subtly highlighting the previous administration's shortcomings. While not everyone was swayed by Eleanor's passionate appeal, Officer Connolly, for instance, stood firm in his skepticism. Support blossomed from unexpected places. Dr. Stanley, the local veterinarian, defended Emma's approach in a heartfelt letter to the Hyannis Oracle. Local bakery and coffee shop owners proudly displayed "We Support Emma" signs, creating a vibrant tapestry of community backing, even as Eleanor's steadfast campaign continued to grow. Then, on a sunny Tuesday morning, Eleanor's perseverance led to an inspiring breakthrough. Jonathan Pierce, a journalist visiting his mother in Hyannis, stumbled upon Emma's heartwarming procession and instantly recognized a story that could uplift the community. His article, "The Dog Whisperer Child, Miracle or Menace," published that evening, was filled with candid photographs of Emma and quotes from the ever-enthusiastic Eleanor Peterson. The story struck a chord, and by Wednesday it was making waves across national morning shows, celebrating the beauty of community involvement and the innocence of a child's love for animals. "Is this extraordinary child gifted or in need of protection?" posed an excited host. Next up, we meet 6-year-old Emma, who confidently guided 6 unleashed German Shepherds through her Massachusetts town. As her story unfolded, social media ignited with the hashtag #DogWhispererChild trending nationwide. A heartwarming video of Emma walking her furry friends captured millions of hearts. Supporters rallied online, creating petitions, one urging for Emma's safety and another championing her bond with these magnificent animals. Animal behaviorists weighed in with differing views, yet none had met Emma or her dogs. Child psychologists speculated on emotional challenges based solely on photos, but the Thompson family found themselves overwhelmed by the sudden fame. Reporters camped outside their home, and strangers knocked on their door at all hours. The stress took a toll on Robert Thompson, leading to a brief hospitalization, while Martha changed their phone number after receiving a mix of supportive and troubling calls from across the nation. Amidst all this chaos, Emma withdrew further, only venturing out in the early morning hours to walk her increasingly restless dogs. The national attention prompted local authorities to take action. Mayor Williams, balancing various concerns, called an emergency meeting with the police chief, town attorney, and representatives from the Department of Children and Families and Animal Control. The ensuing press conference at Town Hall drew media from Boston and Providence. The town of Hyannis is committed to the safety and well-being of all our citizens, the mayor declared, beads of sweat forming on his forehead, despite the cool breeze. We have initiated a formal investigation into the situation regarding Emma Thompson and will follow established protocols to ensure appropriate actions. This carefully crafted statement left many unsatisfied. Eleanor Peterson, standing prominently among the press, voiced her frustrations, declaring it was insufficient and overdue. Emma's supporters expressed their discontent as the animal control officer mentioned assessing the dog's safety. Online commentators dissected every word, while cable news pundits engaged in lively discussions about parental rights and child welfare policies, all in the name of protecting Emma's remarkable spirit and her unique connection with her canine companions. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, a black sedan with government plates gently rolled into the Thompsons' driveway. Martha, peering through lace curtains, felt a wave of anxiety wash over her as she clutched her husband's hand tightly. With them was caseworker Melissa Rodriguez from the Department of Children and Families and Officer Brett Jameson from Animal Control, ready to assess their family situation. Sensing the tension, little Emma nestled closer to Max, her loyal German shepherd, intertwining her tiny fingers in his thick fur for comfort. With a voice that trembled slightly, Robert Thompson invited the officials into their cozy living room. Emma is a uniquely special child, he shared, as the 6 German shepherds formed a protective circle around the silent girl. After losing her parents, these dogs became her lifeline, a bridge to their love. Officer Jameson eyed the dogs cautiously, aware of the concerns at hand. While we appreciate the bond, we must adhere to safety protocols. 6 dogs of this size and strength. His words faltered as Max, the largest shepherd, locked eyes with him, radiating loyalty and strength. We truly understand your concerns, Martha interjected, her hands, swollen from arthritis, resting gently in her lap. But these dogs saved Emma. After the accident, she wouldn't eat or speak. The dogs reached out to her in ways we couldn't, becoming her companions when the world felt too heavy. As the adults discussed, Emma retreated into her serene bubble, guiding her dogs with delicate finger movements, each one instinctively knowing their place. The officials watched this silent dance, captivated by the bond they shared. Caseworker Rodriguez turned to Emma, her voice softening to that of a comforting friend. "Emma, are you happy living here with your grandparents and your dogs?" she asked gently. For a moment, Emma's eyes, filled with a depth reminiscent of her mother's, met the caseworker's gaze before shyly looking away. There was no verbal reply, but her presence spoke volumes. "We've scheduled a formal hearing for next Tuesday," Rodriguez announced, rising from her chair with a reassuring smile. "A judge will listen to your story and decide how we can best support you while we complete our investigation." Handing Martha a folder of documents, she added, "This will explain your rights and the next steps ahead." As the officials drove away, Eleanor Peterson sat quietly in her car, a smile of satisfaction lighting up her face. "That brave child is finally going to get the help she deserves," she whispered, hope filling her heart. Meanwhile, in the Thompson home, Martha sat in her chair, tears streaming down her weathered cheeks. "They'll take her away, Robert. Or the dogs. Either way, it will break her heart," she said, her voice trembling. Robert knelt beside Emma, who was surrounded by her loyal canine companions. "Emma, sweetheart," he said gently, "we need your help now. Together, we can show everyone just how special the bond is between you and your dogs." In that moment, a flicker of understanding sparkled in Emma's eyes, a hint of determination. She returned to stroking Max's head, her silence speaking volumes about her love and connection. The journey to secure Emma's future had officially begun, with support and challenges on all sides, ready to collide in ways that could only lead to growth and transformation. The investigation into Emma Thompson's situation kicked off on a crisp Monday morning, just a week before the scheduled hearing. Caseworker Melissa Rodriguez arrived at the Thompson home, accompanied by Dr. Alan Foster, a compassionate child psychologist specializing in trauma and autism spectrum disorders. They found Martha Thompson waiting nervously on the porch, her hands trembling as she offered them warm coffee from a thermos. "Robert's not feeling well this morning," Martha explained, leading them into the living room where Emma sat cross-legged on a worn carpet, surrounded by her 6 loving German shepherds. "His heart, you know," she added, a hint of worry in her voice. The dogs shifted slightly, maintaining their protective circle around Emma. Dr. Foster observed how Max, the leader of the pack, stood between Emma and her visitors, curious but calm. "We'd like to see how Emma interacts with her dogs," Rodriguez explained gently, setting up a small camera with Martha's hesitant approval, focusing on the morning routine that had sparked so much interest. For the next 3 hours, the professionals watched Emma move through her day, communicating with her dogs through a beautiful dance of hand signals, soft sounds, and loving gestures. Dr. Foster took detailed notes, captivated by how Emma maintained eye contact with her dogs while shying away from the humans. When it was time for their daily walk, Martha helped Emma into her jacket, whispering sweet reassurances that the observers would keep their distance. "She'll only walk if they're not too close," Martha explained, her protective instincts kicking in. The dogs sensed Emma's anxiety and formed a protective barrier, ready to keep her safe. As they made their way down Main Street, the procession drew an even larger crowd than usual, as word spread about the upcoming hearing. Rodriguez watched in awe as the dogs tightened their formation, creating a living shield around Emma, a testament to the power of love and loyalty. As Emma gracefully navigated the walk, the bond she shared with her dogs was palpable, a beautiful dance of trust and communication. "It's remarkable," Dr. Foster whispered to Rodriguez, "the connection they have. Disrupting this bond could be detrimental." Rodriguez, ever the professional, gently reminded him, "While we admire their relationship, we must prioritize her safety and growth. Is this companionship nurturing her, or is it a shield that hinders her from fully embracing life?" Just then, Eleanor Peterson stepped forward from the crowd, her voice carrying over the murmurs. "You see it now, don't you?" she asserted, making sure those nearby could hear. "A child cannot handle those animals in a crisis. It's a recipe for disaster." Maintaining her calm composure, Rodriguez replied, "We are conducting a comprehensive evaluation, Mrs. Peterson. Thank you for your concern, but our findings are confidential." The days that followed were filled with dedicated observations as a team of experts joined the effort. A veterinary behaviorist to assess the dog's demeanor, an occupational therapist to support Emma's development, and a social worker focused on the well-being of her grandparents. The Thompson home buzzed with professionals, each contributing their insights and tools. Amidst this, Emma seemed to retreat into her own world, communicating mainly with her loyal dogs and offering fleeting nods to her ailing grandparents. Then, on the 3rd day, an unforeseen event shed light on the extraordinary bond between Emma and her canine companions. In the midst of preparing lunch, Robert Thompson, burdened by stress and health issues, collapsed in the kitchen. Martha's startled cry barely escaped her lips when Max, who had been resting beside Emma, sprang to action, responding to her call. By the time Dr. Foster reached the kitchen, Emma had already positioned her grandfather safely, with Max alertly guarding him and the other 5 dogs forming a protective circle. "He always knows," Martha later explained, relief washing over her after the paramedics ensured Robert would be okay. Max can sense when Robert is about to have an episode, sometimes even before Robert feels it himself. Foster shared a knowing look with Rodriguez. "It's like a sixth sense," he remarked softly, marveling at the incredible bond that not only protected but also healed. "It's incredible how some dogs can sense changes in our bodies, foreseeing medical events before they happen." Max, a loyal companion, alerted Emma to something important, a silent communication between them that spoke volumes. Emma's heart swelled with emotion as memories of her parents washed over her. But amidst the sadness, a new hope emerged. With Max's remarkable ability to detect Robert's cardiac events, a brighter path unfolded. Rodriguez consulted with her supervisor, leading to the decision to bring in Samantha Miller, a specialist in service animals. For an entire day, Miller observed Max, and with each alert, she confirmed the extraordinary bond that was not only protective, but deeply loving. Max isn't just a pet, Miller shared in her findings. He's an untrained, yet effective medical alert dog. This revelation opened doors as news spread through the community, sparking interest from medical organizations eager to study Max's gifts. The Cape Cod Service Dog Association stepped in to offer formal training, paving the way for Max to be officially certified. Even those who had once been against Emma and her dogs began to reconsider their positions. The shift in public opinion highlighted the power of love and loyalty, showcasing how one dog's unique abilities could unite a community. Yet, some remained skeptical. Eleanor, unconvinced, argued that even one dog exhibiting positive behavior couldn't outweigh her concerns about the others. She insisted on removing all but the one useful dog. However, hope lingered. Dr. Nathan Jackson, a young veterinarian with a passion for animal behavior, sought permission to observe Emma with her dogs for a fresh perspective. With his kind demeanor and a curious mind, he approached the situation differently, willing to bridge the gap. Dr. Jackson watched quietly for an hour, taking notes while ensuring he didn't intrude. Then he asked Martha if he could sit on the floor near Emma, wanting to connect on her level. With her approval, he settled down and began to mimic Emma's hand signals when she wasn't looking, studying the harmony in their interactions. This gentle approach was a testament to the beauty of understanding and compassion, reminding us that sometimes the best connections happen when we open our hearts to learn from one another. On his third visit, a beautiful moment unfolded. Dr. Jackson, seated on the floor, observed Emma from a distance. With a subtle gesture, a gentle rotation of her wrist followed by a finger tap, Luna, the tiniest of the shepherds, looked at him with curiosity, then approached and sat at his feet. In that instant, Emma turned, her eyes meeting his for the very first time. "I hope you don't mind," Dr. Jackson said softly, addressing Emma with warmth and respect. "I've been studying your language. It's truly remarkable." He demonstrated another signal, and to his amazement, Duke responded by lying down, showcasing the bond they shared. "Did your parents teach you this?" Dr. Jackson inquired gently. Although Emma didn't speak, her actions spoke volumes as she reached for a notebook on the side table and pushed it toward him. As he opened it, he found intricate diagrams of hand signals, adorned with notes in adult handwriting, alongside simpler versions penned in a child's handwriting. "Your parents' training journals," he said, realization dawning upon him. "You've been studying them and making them your own." Emma nodded almost imperceptibly. It was her first act of deliberate communication with the professionals, a spark of connection that filled the room with hope. That evening, Dr. Jackson excitedly shared his discoveries with Rodriguez and the team, illuminating Emma's unique abilities. "She's not just mimicking her parents' techniques," he shared with enthusiasm. "She's innovating and creating her own variations tailored to her size and the unique personalities of each dog. It's extraordinary. I've never witnessed anything like it." Rodriguez, however, raised a crucial question. "But is it safe?" Without hesitation, Dr. Jackson replied, "Safer than most handler-dog relationships I've observed professionally. These dogs are not just trained, they are devoted companions. They see Emma as a leader, someone to obey and protect." His voice brimmed with passion, inspiring his colleagues to consider the profound bond between Emma and her dogs. Breaking that bond would be devastating, not only emotionally but also developmentally, Dr. Jackson emphasized. Through these relationships, Emma is learning responsibility, nonverbal communication, and empathy. As the hearing approached, the investigation team prepared their reports, each contributing their unique perspectives to the complex case. Despite their anxiety, Martha and Robert Thompson found solace in the growing interest and understanding shown by the experts. Yet Emma remained withdrawn, hesitant to interact and increasingly reluctant to engage in her usual routines. The night before the hearing, Dr. Jackson made an unplanned visit to the Thompson home, carrying a large folder filled with hope. "May I speak with you privately?" he asked Martha and Robert, who led him to the kitchen, while Emma stayed with her beloved dogs in the living room, surrounded by love and support. As I sat at the kitchen table, surrounded by articles on selective mutism and animal-assisted therapy, I felt a spark of hope. "Look here," I said, sharing stories of children who found their voices through the gentle companionship of animals. "These dogs could be the bridge that reconnects Emma with the world." Robert Thompson, his eyes shimmering with emotion, whispered, "That's our hope. We're just trying to hold our family together." With conviction, Dr. Jackson declared, "I would like to testify at tomorrow's hearing, if you allow me." The next morning, the Barnstable County Courthouse buzzed with anticipation. Judge Sandra Ostrowski, known for her fair yet firm demeanor, surveyed the room with an authoritative gaze that silenced the crowd. At the front, Eleanor Peterson sat with her attorney, a stern woman from Boston, while Martha and Robert Thompson were represented by James Collins, a kind-hearted local attorney who offered his help without charge after hearing their story. Emma sat quietly between her grandparents, her focus on the floor, while the dogs patiently waited at home under the care of a veterinary technician. Melissa Rodriguez began by sharing the investigation team's findings, presenting a blend of expert opinions about Emma's well-being. The judge listened intently, her probing questions revealing her deep understanding of the case. When Dr. Jackson took the stand, he transformed from a reserved scholar into a passionate advocate. He shared his observations of Emma's unique way of communicating, her adaptation to her parents' nurturing, and the incredible bond she shared with Max, who seemed to sense Robert's health issues. "Research shows that the bond between humans and animals can be incredibly healing," he asserted, locking eyes with the judge. "Removing Emma from these bonds would inflict deep emotional harm without any benefit. Instead, I propose a supervised program to nurture this beautiful connection, using it as a springboard for Emma's growth in human relationships." Eleanor's attorney challenged him, but Dr. Jackson stood firm, embodying the spirit of compassion and understanding that this family so desperately needed. When it was her turn to testify, Eleanor stepped forward as a passionate advocate for child safety, drawing on her extensive career in education and child development. "I hold deep compassion for the Thompson family," she began, her voice resonating with the wisdom gained from years of experience. "But compassion must also guide us to protect our children from potential harm. 6 powerful dogs in the care of a child who has faced immense trauma and cannot yet express herself is a situation that calls for our attention." With clarity and purpose, she shared her concerns, presenting photographs of past incidents to highlight the importance of prevention. "We cannot stand by and wait for a tragedy to strike before we take action," she urged. As the hearing continued, the weight of the moment hung in the air, drawing the attention of reporters and supporters alike. Robert Thompson sat quietly on a bench, the tension evident as Martha gently rubbed his arms, offering comfort during this challenging time. When court resumed, the judge prepared to hear the final statements, knowing this was a pivotal moment for the Thompson family. The attorneys presented their closing arguments. The Thompsons' lawyer passionately spoke about the healing power of family bonds and the unique connection Emma had with her dogs, while Peterson's counsel highlighted the essential need for safety and the potential risks of Emma's isolation. "Before I reach my decision," Judge Ostrowski announced, "I would like to invite Emma Thompson to share her thoughts, should she wish to." A hush fell over the courtroom. Emma had not spoken publicly since her parents' tragic passing. Martha leaned close to Emma, softly encouraging her, but Emma shook her head gently, her gaze still focused on the ground. The judge nodded with understanding, recognizing the weight of the moment. "Very well," she said. "I will now offer a preliminary decision pending further developments." Just then, a sudden commotion erupted at the back of the courtroom. The doors swung open and Max, the spirited German shepherd, dashed down the aisle, having miraculously escaped from the Thompson home. Following closely behind was a flustered veterinary technician trying to catch up. Gasps filled the room as the majestic dog made a beeline for Emma, completely disregarding the bailiff's attempt to stop him. This unexpected arrival was more than just a surprise. It was a pivotal moment that would lead to revelations capable of transforming Emma's life and the understanding of her situation. In a moment that seemed to freeze time, the courtroom fell silent as Max, a gentle giant of a dog, made his way toward Emma. Judge Ostrowski, known for her strict adherence to the law, found herself momentarily at a loss for words. The bailiff instinctively reached for his holster, but Dr. Jackson quickly intervened, raising a hand in reassurance. "He's friendly," he said firmly, calming the atmosphere. As Max reached at Emma, she placed her small hand on his head, a gesture of love and trust that radiated warmth throughout the room. Max's intelligent eyes scanned the courtroom, finally landing on Robert Thompson, Emma's grandfather, who was looking unwell. With a gentle whine, Max nudged Robert's knee, sensing something was off. Dr. Jackson swiftly approached, concern etched on his face. "Mr. Thompson, are you all right?" Robert brushed it off, but his labored breathing told a different story. "Just stress," he replied, though his color suggested otherwise. Dr. Jackson recognized Max's behavior as a vital medical alert, echoing the profound bond that can exist between humans and animals. Recovering her composure, Judge Ostrowski instructed the bailiff to call for medical assistance. "We'll take a short recess," she announced, allowing the gallery to simmer with excitement as they filed out. Paramedics rushed in and confirmed that Robert was indeed in distress, needing immediate attention. Max, ever vigilant, maintained his position beside Emma, occasionally checking in on Robert as if to say, "I've got this." One paramedic remarked, "If left untreated, this could have led to a serious situation." Thanks to Max's intuition, Robert was now in safe hands. Martha, torn between her husband and Emma, looked anxiously at Melissa Rodriguez. "I can't leave Emma," she said, worry etched on her face. Just then Dr. Jackson stepped in. "I can stay with Emma," he offered, recognizing the importance of support in this moment. He suggested that perhaps Max should accompany Robert to the hospital, knowing that the dog's calming presence could provide invaluable comfort. Judge Ostrowski watched the scene unfold with a heartwarming appreciation for the extraordinary bond between them, making a decision that would touch all their lives. "Mrs. Thompson, I want to ensure your granddaughter feels safe while we sort this out. Would it be okay for her to stay in my chambers with Dr. Jackson?" Martha glanced at Emma, who gave a subtle nod, signaling her trust. As Robert was wheeled away with Max by his side, Martha followed closely, her heart full of hope. Judge Ostrowski guided Emma and Dr. Jackson into her private chambers, creating a cozy space for connection. The rest of the courtroom, including Eleanor Peterson and the attorneys, were asked to return in an hour. In the judge's chambers, Emma sat in a large leather chair, her thoughts swirling. Dr. Jackson, maintaining a gentle presence, began to share stories about Moss, reminiscing about his own childhood companion. With soft, inviting questions, Dr. Jackson created a safe atmosphere where Emma felt at ease. Judge Ostrowski observed closely, appreciating the care in Dr. Jackson's approach. After a while, he pulled out some photographs from his pocket, sharing them with Emma. "These are from my visits," he said, placing them on the coffee table. "You've done an amazing job training them. Your parents would be so proud." Emma's eyes lit up as they fell upon candid shots of her and the Hyannis during their training sessions. For the first time, she seemed to be drawn into a world beyond her worries about her grandfather. Emma reached out with her small fingers to touch a photograph of Max standing guard beside her. "He's truly special," Dr. Jackson said, his voice warm. "But the real magic comes from you. The trust and communication you have built with them is incredible." Judge Ostrowski, sensing Emma's struggle, leaned in with empathy. "I know this is a challenging time for you, Emma. It feels like everyone is making decisions about your life, but I want you to know I'm here to listen to what you want." She moved to a chair beside Emma, ensuring that the atmosphere remained inviting. "You don't have to use words if that feels too hard right now." Emma briefly met the judge's gaze before returning to the photographs. After a thoughtful moment, she pointed to the image of all 6 dogs surrounding her on the living room floor. Judge Ostrowski understood her gesture, and Emma nodded, a flicker of hope shining through. Dr. Jackson reached for a notepad, ready to capture Emma's thoughts, as a new chapter of her journey began. "Would you like to write what you're thinking?" he offered. "Or draw it, perhaps?" Emma eagerly accepted the pad and pen, her concentration evident as she bent over her task. For several moments, the room was filled only with the gentle scratching of the pen on paper. When she finally turned the pad around, both adults were taken aback. Instead of a child's drawing, there was a beautifully penned sentence that read, "Please don't take my dogs away. They keep the nightmares from coming back." Dr. Jackson blinked in surprise, realizing Emma's remarkable talent. "Emma, you can write very well," he said with admiration. Emma took the pad back, her fingers dancing over the paper as she wrote, "I can read too. Mom and Dad taught me early." When Judge Ostrowski gently asked, "Why don't you speak?" Emma paused, then wrote, "Words got stuck after I saw the accident. I try, but they won't come out. It scares Grandma and Grandpa when I try too hard." Through her written words, Emma unveiled a depth of understanding and emotion that no one had anticipated, revealing the strength hidden within her young heart. With each word, Emma conveyed her awareness of the community's concerns, acknowledged her grandparents' struggles, and revealed a level of thoughtfulness that surpassed her age. Most importantly, she expressed how vital her dogs were for her emotional healing after the tragic loss of her parents. "The dogs still hear Mom and Dad in my hands," she wrote, a beautiful testament to her belief that the bond they shared kept her connected to her loved ones. As the hour drew to a close, Judge Ostrowski recognized the weight of Emma's insights. "We need to return to the courtroom soon," she said gently. "Based on what you've shared, I believe I understand your wishes better." Yet, she added, "But Emma, the court needs to hear your voice, not necessarily in words, but in some way that everyone can understand." Emma stared at the notepad thoughtfully, then wrote, "Will Max come back?" Ida Jackson leaned closer, reassuring her, "I'll make sure of it." When court reconvened, Martha Thompson reported that Robert was stabilizing and undergoing tests. Emma had indeed played a crucial role for the medical team, alerting them to an irregularity that led to preventative treatment. Following Judge Ostrowski's direction, the loyal German Shepherd now lay at Emma's feet, a living symbol of their unbreakable bond. His presence offered comfort to Emma, a reminder of the love and loyalty that surrounded her. Before hearing the final arguments, Judge Ostrowski addressed the court, sharing the new insights gained during her conversation with Emma. She emphasized the child's unique ability to communicate through writing and her heartfelt wishes regarding her dogs. Immediately, Eleanor Peterson's attorney objected, claiming "Your Honor, ex parte communications with a minor child without counsel present are highly irregular. We request that these statements be stricken from consideration." Yet the truth of Emma's words echoed in the room, a testament to the power of love and connection in the face of adversity. Judge Ostrowski met the attorney's gaze with unwavering resolve. "Counselor, our foremost duty is to discern what truly serves the best interest of the child. I will weigh all relevant information, especially the heartfelt wishes of the child, when she finds her voice to express them." The attorney pressed on, "The child is traumatized and emotionally reliant on these animals. She cannot objectively decide what is best for herself." In that moment, the atmosphere in the courtroom shifted, and Emma, who had been sitting quietly by her grandmother, suddenly found her strength. With a gentle touch, her hand moved to Max's head, seemingly signaling him. The dog stood still and calm as Emma rose from her chair, stepping confidently beside him. Martha reached out to her granddaughter. "Emma, sweetheart, you don't have to do this." But Emma had already made her choice, her small hand resting on Max's back, drawing courage from his steadfast presence. The courtroom fell into a hushed silence, all eyes on the brave little girl who had become a beacon of hope in the midst of uncertainty. Emma looked up, her gaze searching the unfamiliar faces, finally resting on Judge Ostrowski. "The dogs," Emma began, her voice soft yet resolute. "They're not just pets." The sound surprised even her, but she pressed on, swallowing hard. Max inched closer, offering comfort, and she took a deep breath. "They keep me safe," she continued, each word a testament to her courage. "When the car hit Mom and Dad, I was in the back seat. Max pulled me out before the fire." A wave of shock swept through the courtroom. This revelation that Emma had been at the scene of her parents' tragic accident and was saved by Max had never before been shared. Martha Thompson gasped, tears streaming down her face. "She never told us," she whispered to Officer Rodriguez. "We thought she was with the babysitter. The police said she was found safe at the scene." Emma continued, her words coming with a newfound strength. "Max saved me then. All the dogs save me every day. From the nightmares, from the memories." Her voice trembled with emotion. "Please don't take them away. They're the only part of Mom and Dad I have left." The courtroom remained enraptured in silence as Emma returned to her seat, Max walking in perfect harmony by her side. Martha enveloped her in a warm embrace, tears of love and pride flowing freely, while Emma stood strong, her heart full of resilience, having shared her truth with unyielding courage. As Judge Ostrowski stood before the court, her heart visibly touched by the unfolding story, she addressed everyone with warmth and compassion. "We have just heard profound testimony that speaks to the core of this case. Miss Peterson, would you like to share your thoughts?" Eleanor Peterson, who had been rigid throughout the proceedings, found herself softening as she gazed at Emma for the first time, seeing her not just as a subject, but as a remarkable young person worthy of respect. "Your Honor," she began, her voice carrying an unexpected tremor, "I took this action out of a genuine concern for a child's safety. I still believe in the importance of proper safeguards," she continued, pausing as she battled her own feelings. "But after witnessing today's testimony, I cannot, in good conscience, push for the removal of these animals from Emma's life." Her attorney looked at her in disbelief, yet Eleanor pressed on with newfound conviction. "I would like to withdraw my petition and ask the court to consider implementing professional oversight to ensure Emma's ongoing safety and support her journey to recovery." The judge nodded appreciatively, recognizing Eleanor's change of heart. "Thank you, Miss Peterson. Your willingness to reconsider speaks volumes." Turning to the entire courtroom, Judge Ostrowski prepared to share her ruling. "Considering the exceptional circumstances and the heartfelt evidence presented today, I am ready to make a decision." With clarity and care, she acknowledged the valid concerns while celebrating the extraordinary bond between Emma and her dogs. She ruled for a 6-month monitoring period, with regular visits from child welfare services and animal behavior specialists. Dr. Jackson was specifically appointed to create a therapeutic program that would nurture Emma's communication skills. Most importantly, she ruled that Emma's dogs could stay with her, provided essential safety measures were followed and the grandparents received additional support. This court recognizes that there are no perfect solutions in cases of childhood trauma, she concluded with empathy. But when a child finds a healing path, no matter how unconventional, it is our duty to nurture that journey while ensuring appropriate safeguards. As the hearing came to a close, the courtroom hummed with energy. Reporters hurried to capture the moment, while spectators engaged in lively debates about the judge's decision. Through it all, Emma remained beside her grandmother, her hand resting gently on Max's head. She had rediscovered her voice after 2 long years of silence, and now embraced a new kind of quiet, one filled with choice and hope. Every now and then, she would whisper to the dog that had been her guardian angel, a testament to the healing power of loving and connection. The day after the hearing dawned bright and clear, filling the Thompson household with a refreshing sense of hope. For the first time in weeks, Emma ventured out on her morning routine, walking her dogs through town with newfound confidence. Townspeople greeted her with warm congratulations on the judge's decision, and although Emma responded mostly with nods, her spirit was undeniably lifting. Martha shared with Melissa Rodriguez that Emma had even managed to utter a few sentences at home, small steps of communication about daily life, but significant progress nonetheless. "It's as if breaking that barrier in court opened a door to her heart," Martha described during Rodriguez's visit. "She may not be chatting away just yet, but the fear of speaking seems to be fading." As the days passed, the media's attention shifted, but the warmth of the community's support remained a steady light in Emma's journey. Meanwhile, Eleanor Peterson chose an unexpected path of reflection, stepping back from her usual community engagements. Neighbors noticed lights flickering in her Victorian home late into the night, yet she only ventured out for necessary errands. Her husband hinted to his golfing friends that Eleanor was taking time to reassess her priorities, though he offered no details. 2 weeks after the hearing, Dr. Jackson began implementing the therapeutic program mandated by the court. He visited the Thompson home 3 times a week, engaging Emma and her dogs in activities designed to enhance her communication skills. Robert, still recovering from his cardiac incident, watched these nurturing sessions from his armchair, occasionally sharing insights from his memories of training techniques. On a beautiful, warm Thursday in June, Dr. Jackson suggested they take the therapy session outdoors to the public garden by the harbor, believing a change of scenery could inspire progress. "A little sunshine might be just what we need to gauge how Emma and the dogs respond to new surroundings," he explained to Martha with a smile. The session unfolded beautifully, with Emma guiding her dogs through various exercises, responding to Dr. Jackson's questions with nods or single words. They caught the attention of a few curious tourists, but the doctor expertly managed their curiosity, ensuring Emma was shielded from any intrusive inquiries. Just as they were preparing to return home, Emma suddenly tensed, her hand gripping Max's fur tightly. Following her gaze, Dr. Jackson noticed Eleanor Peterson standing at a distance on the garden path, clutching a shopping bag and gazing at them with a complex expression. Before he could step in, Eleanor approached, her usually poised demeanor slightly slumped, as if carrying an invisible burden. "Emma," she said softly, stopping a respectful distance away, ready to bridge the gap that had long stood between them. "May I have a moment of your time?" Eleanor asked, her gaze flickering to Dr. Jackson for reassurance. He looked at Emma, who had drawn her dogs closer, yet remained calm. "It's your choice, Emma," he reminded her gently. "You don't have to talk if you don't want to." To his surprise, Emma nodded slightly, though she positioned Max protectively between herself and Eleanor. Taking that as a cue, Eleanor stepped forward cautiously. "I owe you an apology," she began, her voice softer than usual. "I thought I was protecting you, but I realize now that trying to pull you away from your dogs was wrong." She paused, her expression revealing her inner struggle. "There's a personal reason I wanted to speak with you, one I've been too ashamed to share until now." Dr. Jackson felt a surge of concern, ready to intervene, but Eleanor spoke with a sense of urgency that brooked no interruption. "The night of your parents' accident, it was my car that ran the red light." Her words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken emotion. Emma's eyes widened and she froze, her dog sensing her shock and shifting protectively around her. "It was pouring rain," Eleanor continued, her voice trembling. "I was distracted, arguing with my husband. I didn't see the light change. By the time I saw your parents' car, it was too late." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "The police called it an accident. Bad visibility, terrible weather. No charges were filed, but I've carried this guilt every single day." Dr. Jackson instinctively moved closer to Emma, but she surprised him by placing a calming hand on his arm. Though her face was pale, her gaze remained fixed on Eleanor, filled with a depth of understanding beyond her years. "Seeing you walk past my house with those dogs each morning felt like being haunted. The guilt I thought I had buried came rushing back. I convinced myself you weren't safe, that the dogs were dangerous. Anything to justify my interference. I thought I was doing something good to balance the weight of my actions." Her voice broke, revealing her vulnerability. "But watching you in court, hearing your voice for the first time, made me realize I wasn't protecting you. I was trying to shield myself from my own guilt." Emma's silence lingered, and Dr. Jackson felt a wave of concern. Just as he was about to suggest they leave, Emma spoke, her voice small yet clear. "You hurt my mom and dad." Eleanor nodded, tears flowing freely now. "Yes, and I can never take that away. I understand if you feel anger towards me." In a surprising moment, Emma revealed, "The dogs recognized your scent." This revelation ignited a spark of realization in Eleanor. The dogs had remembered her from the accident that had haunted them all. In that instant, I saw Eleanor's spirit waver, her shoulders sinking under the weight of her past. "I'm so sorry, Emma. I've wanted to share this with you for so long, but fear held me back. I don't expect forgiveness, but I hope for understanding." Her heartfelt words hung in the air, a testament to vulnerability and the hope for healing. Just then, the tranquility was shattered as a cyclist whizzed past, startling a flock of pigeons into flight. Emma jumped in surprise, but Max, ever the guardian, instinctively placed himself between Emma and the unexpected commotion, showcasing his protective nature. In that fleeting moment of chaos, Eleanor instinctively stepped forward, perhaps to comfort Emma, but Max misread the situation and leaped forward with a protective bark, embodying his role as the family's protector. Eleanor was taken aback by Max's swift movement and lost her footing, falling onto the pathway. Dr. Jackson, quick to respond, called out to Max, using commands that Emma had lovingly taught him. Max, recognizing his friend's distress, retreated to Emma's side. But the moment had passed, and Eleanor lay there, clutching her arm, breathless. "Are you okay, Mrs. Peterson?" Dr. Jackson knelt beside her, concern etched on his face. "I think I may have broken my arm," she gasped, looking toward Emma and the now calm dogs, a moment of focus amidst the turmoil. "The dog didn't bite me. He was just protecting her. I lost my balance," Eleanor clarified, her voice steady despite the situation. Yet the scene drew the attention of others, and a park visitor called 911, reporting what they perceived as a dog attack. Within moments, officers and paramedics arrived, a scene that Judge Ostrowski had wished to avoid. As Eleanor was gently placed on a stretcher, she reiterated that Max had not harmed her. Officer Connolly approached Emma with a heavy heart, saying, "I'm sorry, Emma, but I need to take Max to animal control for an investigation." It was a necessary step, even when intentions were pure, reminding us all how love and protection can sometimes lead to unexpected consequences. Emma's heart ached as she clung to Max, her loyal companion, feeling the weight of impending loss. Dr. Jackson stepped in, trying to explain that Max had only acted out of love and protection. Officer Connolly, though sympathetic, had to follow the rules. "I promise. We'll take good care of him, and you can visit," he reassured her. But when Emma found her voice, it was filled with pure distress. "Please, he was just protecting me," she cried. In that moment, Officer Connolly hesitated, torn between duty and empathy. "I'm sorry, Emma. This is just temporary. We'll get it sorted," he vowed, hoping to comfort her. Eleanor, still on her stretcher, weakly protested, insisting on Max's innocence. "He was only doing his job," she told the paramedics, trying to advocate for the loving dog. But despite her plea, the protocols were unyielding. As Max was led away, Emma collapsed into Dr. Jackson's arms, sobbing deeply, a heart-wrenching sound that touched everyone around them. Her 5 remaining shepherds gathered close, sharing in her sorrow, their loyalty evident in their cries. This moment felt like the darkest chapter in Emma's life, a setback that threatened her hard-won progress. Yet, unbeknownst to her, this heartbreak would sow the seeds for a remarkable change, one that would redefine not just Emma's journey, but also the community's understanding of love, forgiveness, and resilience. The next morning, Emma sat quietly on her grandparents' porch, surrounded by her loyal pack, gathering strength for what lay ahead. Since Max's departure, Emma had fallen silent, retreating into the stillness that followed her parents' passing. Martha, her grandmother, tried everything to lift her spirits, bringing her favorite meals and soft words of comfort, but they went unacknowledged. Dr. Robert, fueled by concern, reached out to every official he could think of, advocating for what he believed was a grave injustice. Meanwhile, Dr. Jackson arrived early the next day, dedicated to ensuring Max was safe and well cared for. He found the dog calm and gentle, showing none of the aggression that would warrant a long quarantine. "I promise, Emma," he said, kneeling to meet her sad gaze. "Officer Connolly is pushing for a quick review. We'll bring Max back home soon." Hope began to stir within Emma as she realized she wasn't alone in this fight. The day brought an unexpected visitor, Melissa Rodriguez, who arrived at the Thompson home just before noon, tablet in hand. Her serious demeanor hinted at the weight of the news she was about to share. After a warm welcome from Martha, Melissa explained that Mrs. Peterson had been released from the hospital with a fractured wrist. While she maintained that the way didn't directly attack her, this incident sparked a mandatory safety review under Judge Ostrowski's order. Robert's frustration boiled over, his palms striking the kitchen table. "This is all Dr. Jackson's fault. It started with the accident that took our son and continues with this." "Mr. Thompson," Melissa gently interjected, "let's channel our emotions into something constructive for Emma. We need to focus on the legal steps we can take." She turned to Dr. Jackson, seeking clarity. "You witnessed the incident, and your detailed account will be invaluable for my report." Meanwhile, Emma remained on the porch, seemingly lost in her own world amidst the turmoil. Only Duke, the most sensitive of the remaining shepherds, seemed to reach her, nudging her lap for a gentle stroke as he rested his head there. Just as they began formulating their strategy, the door swung open to reveal Michael Gallagher, the tattooed restaurant owner who had bravely defended Emma at the town meeting months ago. "Sorry to interrupt," he said, his presence a welcome surprise, "but I think you'll want to see this." He held up a small USB drive, the glimmer of hope in his eyes infectious. "My restaurant installed security cameras last year for the harbor revitalization project. They cover the waterfront and part of the public garden." He glanced toward Emma, who sat quietly on the porch. "After yesterday's incident, I reviewed some footage from the past few months. There's something from about 8 weeks ago that could be crucial." With excitement, Martha led everyone to the living room, where Robert's old desktop computer whirred to life. Michael plugged in the drive and opened a video file from 6 weeks prior to the courthouse hearing. "This was a Tuesday morning," he explained. "My staff noticed Emma hadn't walked by the restaurant for her usual stroll. We were worried, so I checked the cameras later that day, but didn't see anything worth noting. It wasn't until now that I realized I had missed something important. The footage, though a bit grainy, showcased the public garden from an elevated angle. The timestamp read 5:47 a.m., before Emma's typical walking time. The screen lit up with an image of Emma entering the frame, accompanied only by her loyal companion Max. She approached the small, decorative pond in the garden center, kneeling down to inspect something shimmering in the water, a moment of peace captured in time. As Michael shared the story, I could feel the tension in the air. The pond was being cleaned that week, he explained. They drained it halfway for maintenance, but they left the pump running. I watched as little Emma leaned over the edge, reaching for what looked like a toy boat stuck in the water. In an instant, she lost her balance and fell into the partially drained pond. My heart raced as I saw her struggling, flailing in the water, a small child facing a big challenge. But then, there was Max. Without a moment's hesitation, Max leaped into action. He dove into the water, instinctively maneuvering beneath Emma to lift her toward the surface. For those 10 seconds, we held our breath, praying for their safety. Finally, with a powerful push, he guided her to the edge of the pond. Emma collapsed, coughing, but Max was right there, shaking off the water and nudging her gently until she sat up. Their bond was unmistakable as she wrapped her arms around him, visibly shaken but safe. Together, they emerged from the garden, Emma leaning on Max for support, a testament to their unwavering friendship. When the video finished playing, the room fell silent. I could see Martha's fingers trembling as she pressed them to her lips. "She never told us," she whispered, recalling how Emma came home that day in wet clothes, claiming she'd just slipped in a puddle. If Max hadn't been there, Dr. Jackson studied the still frame of the video, a soft smile forming on his face. This confirms what I've always known about their bond. Max wasn't just a pet, he was Emma's guardian, making choices that ensured her safety. Rodriguez, with renewed focus, tapped notes into her tablet. This footage is crucial for understanding yesterday's incident. Max's actions towards Mrs. Peterson were protective, not aggressive, which aligns with his documented behavior. She looked up, her eyes bright. "Mr. Gallagher, would you share this footage for the official review?" "Absolutely," Michael replied, handing over a copy with pride. "And I'm more than willing to testify if needed. That dog's a hero, plain and simple." Within hours, word of the video spread like wildfire through the community. Those who had remained neutral during the controversy now rallied behind Max, and soon, a crowd gathered outside the animal control facility, holding signs that read, "Free Max" and "Heroes don't belong in cages." The day took an even more poignant turn when Ellen Peterson arrived at the Thompson home, her arm in a cast, but her determination shining through the pain. This time she headed straight for Emma, who sat on the porch surrounded by her loyal protector, Max. "Emma," she said gently, her voice trembling with honesty, "I need to share something important about the pond incident. Max saved you, and I have a confession that weighs heavily on my heart." Emma listened intently, her expression a mixture of curiosity and caution. "What I told you yesterday about the accident wasn't the whole truth. I was distracted by an argument with my husband." "Yes, but there was more. I had 2 glasses of wine at lunch. It wasn't enough to legally impair me, but it clouded my judgment on that rainy day. The police had their suspicions, but my position in the community shielded me. They were lenient, and I let that guilt fester inside me for 2 long years." Eleanor's voice broke as she continued, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I thought I was protecting you by hiding the truth, but I was only shielding myself from the consequences of my actions. When I saw you with those dogs, my heart raced, fearing they might expose me. It was then I realized how selfish I had been." She took a deep breath and reached into her purse, pulling out an envelope. "I've just left the police station where I provided a full statement to correct the record. I also resigned from all my community roles." She placed the envelope on the porch step. "This letter takes complete responsibility for the incident and confirms that Max was acting as a protective service animal. My attorney has already submitted it to the relevant authorities." Emma studied Eleanor's tear-streaked face, her voice quiet but resolute. "Why did you decide to come forward now?" Eleanor's shoulders slumped under the weight of Emma's question. Watching Max's bravery on that security footage made me confront my own failures. This incredible dog risked everything to save you, while I hid behind my shame. I can't bring your parents back, and I can't erase the pain I've caused, but I can try to ensure you keep the love and support you deserve." At that moment, a police cruiser arrived, a sign of hope and accountability on the horizon. Out of the station emerged Officer Connolly, and right beside him was a familiar sight. Max, full of energy and excitement, pulling at his leash. "Special delivery," the officer announced, his face lighting up with a warm smile. "Thanks to Mrs. Peterson's statement, we fast-tracked the review process. Max is now officially recognized as a service animal." What happened next became a cherished story in Hyannis for years to come. Emma, who had been quiet and withdrawn just moments before, suddenly burst with joy and dashed down the porch steps. Max, seeing his beloved handler rushing towards him, sat patiently, waiting for the moment Officer Connolly would release him. In an instant, the two collided in a heartwarming reunion filled with pure joy. Max's tail wagged like a banner of happiness as Emma buried her face in his soft fur, whispering sweet nothings meant just for him. Eleanor Peterson watched, tears streaming down her cheeks, not tears of sorrow, but of a complex mix of regret and the first glimmers of hope for redemption. Through her painful admission of guilt and her courageous actions, she had unknowingly paved the way for healing, not only for Emma, but perhaps for herself as well. The truth once hidden now shone brightly in the light of day, painful yet liberating for everyone involved. That summer, following Max's brief detention, brought transformative changes to Hyannis and to Emma Thompson's life. Judge Ostrowski took a bold step by amending her original order, officially recognizing Max as a service animal and setting a legal precedent that would help countless families in Massachusetts. This recognition extended to Emma's entire pack, validating their vital role in her emotional recovery while ensuring necessary safety protocols. Eleanor Peterson's brave public confession sent waves through the community. While some residents felt betrayed, especially those who had supported her initial campaign against Emma's dogs, others admired her courage to admit such a grave mistake. The district attorney reviewed the case but chose not to pursue criminal charges, citing the statute of limitations and insufficient evidence for serious offenses. Despite that, Eleanor took responsibility, voluntarily surrendering her driver's license and committing to weekly addiction counseling sessions at the community center, embracing a path to recovery and healing. In a remarkable turn of events, Eleanor took the initiative to reach out to the Thompson family, proposing a civil settlement that would establish a trust fund dedicated to Emma's education and future needs. Initially hesitant, Martha and Robert struggled with the idea, perceiving the funds as blood money for their beloved son. However, Eleanor's thoughtful approach, which included provisions for the ongoing care and training of Emma's dogs, gradually won them over. "We can't change what has happened," Martha lovingly reminded Robert in one of their late-night conversations. "But we can ensure that Emma's future is bright. That's what Mark and Sarah would have wanted." The true magic unfolded as Dr. Nathan Jackson continued his work with Emma and her dogs. His innovative communication techniques evolved into a structured program that beautifully combined animal-assisted therapy with traditional counseling methods. Emma became both a patient and a collaborator, her special bond with the dogs unveiling profound insights that enriched the therapy. At a gathering of mental health professionals at Cape Cod Hospital's Behavioral Health Symposium, Dr. Jackson shared the wonders he observed with Emma. "What we're witnessing isn't merely a child with well-trained pets," he explained passionately. "Emma has crafted a sophisticated communication system that connects human and canine understanding, fostering complex collaborative behaviors. More importantly, this bond has provided her with emotional security amidst profound trauma, helping to mitigate any severe developmental impacts." By September, the word of Emma's incredible progress had traveled far and wide, drawing the attention of researchers at Tufts University Center for Animals in Public Policy. After thoughtful deliberation and ensuring Emma's comfort, Martha and Robert agreed to participate in a limited research study to document the therapeutic benefits of her unique bond with her dogs. The resulting paper, co-authored by Dr. Jackson, would eventually be published in a prestigious journal, with Emma celebrated as a young contributor, a shining testament to her resilience and the healing power of love. As time passed, Emma began to emerge from her protective silence, speaking more often, primarily to family members and Dr. Jackson. Her vocabulary blossomed, surprising adults with her insightful, philosophical reflections delivered in a child's voice. "The dogs don't need me to talk," she shared with Dr. Jackson during one session. "They understand anyway." Yet she recognized that people need words to express their feelings. When the new school year approached, the Thompsons found themselves faced with another challenging decision. Traditional classroom settings pose challenges for a child still healing from trauma and accustomed to the companionship of dogs over humans. After extensive consultations with educators and therapists, they crafted a modified attendance plan that allowed Emma to attend morning classes while continuing her therapy sessions in the afternoons, ensuring she had the support she needed to thrive. When Emma first asked to bring her beloved service dog, Max, to school, the administration hesitated, worried about disruptions and allergies. But in a beautiful display of community unity, parents rallied together, signing petitions and urging the school committee to reconsider. Their support forged a compromise. Max would be by Emma's side as she transitioned into her new environment, gradually stepping back as Emma grew more comfortable. On her first day of first grade, she entered Barnstable Elementary, gripping Max's service vest in one hand and her mother Martha's fingers in the other. The students had been prepared for their unique classmate, yet their curiosity led to a flurry of questions that might have overwhelmed Emma just months before. Instead, she found her voice, confidently sharing, "He helps me remember to breathe when I get scared," as Max stood faithfully beside her desk. "And he reminds me that I'm safe now." It was a moment of triumph, showcasing the power of love and support. By winter, Emma had blossomed into a confident student, attending school full days 3 times a week, while Max patiently waited in the counselor's office. Initially concerned about her academic progress due to her irregular early education, Emma surprised everyone with her exceptional performance, particularly in reading and natural sciences. Though her social integration was gradual, by the holiday concert in December, she had formed special friendships with 2 classmates who shared her love for animals. In an inspiring parallel, Eleanor Peterson, who had faced her own struggles, began her journey of redemption alongside Emma's recovery. After her heartfelt confession, she retreated from public life, selling her Victorian home and moving to a modest apartment near the community center. Instead of leaving Hyannis, she chose to stay, embracing the community's judgment as part of her healing process. A true turning point in Eleanor's relationship with the Thompson family emerged unexpectedly during a winter storm, when power outages swept through Cape Cod, leading to a moment of connection and understanding. As winter's chill wrapped around the community, the Emergency Management Office sprang into action, establishing warming centers to protect vulnerable residents. Martha, determined to transport her beloved family, Robert, Emma, and their 6 large dogs, to safety, faced an unexpected hurdle when their aging station wagon refused to start in the biting cold. Just when hope seemed dim, Eleanor arrived like a guardian angel, bringing a spacious rented SUV that welcomed the entire Thompson family, furry friends included. The 3 days spent together at the community shelter became a transformative experience, planting the seeds of deep forgiveness, not the superficial kind found in greeting cards, but a genuine reconciliation that acknowledges past hurts and opens the door to healing. By spring, Dr. Jackson's therapeutic program blossomed, extending its reach to other children grappling with trauma and communication challenges. With the Thompsons' blessing, he launched the Pause for Communication program, utilizing a training facility generously donated by a local business owner, moved by Emma's inspiring journey. Max and his canine companions took the lead, showcasing the innovative techniques Emma had lovingly developed. Emma, once a quiet soul at the heart of the community's concern, began to blossom into a junior instructor, sharing her newfound wisdom with others. Under gentle guidance, she helped children forge connections with specially trained therapy dogs. Her soft voice, though occasionally hesitant, carried a unique strength as she explained the magic of canine communication to those who, like her former self, struggled to express their feelings. "Dogs understand what's in your heart," she shared with a 7-year-old boy who had been silent since witnessing domestic violence. "They don't need the perfect words. They just need your honesty." For the first time in nearly a year, the boy reached out to the German Shepherd puppy Emma had thoughtfully chosen for him, and soon after a radiant smile broke through, lighting up his face and heart. On a day filled with gratitude and joy, Mayor Williams declared Canine Companionship Day in Hyannis, celebrating the bond between humans and their furry friends. This special occasion took place in the very garden where Max had once heroically rescued Emma from drowning. As the community gathered, a small bronze plaque was unveiled, honoring the therapeutic program that blossomed from that life-changing moment. Emma stood proudly beside the plaque, surrounded by her 6 loyal German shepherds, her grandparents, Dr. Jackson, and an unexpected yet cherished guest, Eleanor Peterson. Mayor Williams presented Emma with a heartfelt certificate of appreciation for her invaluable contributions to the community. With Max by her side, Emma stepped forward to share her thoughts. "My parents taught me that dogs and people are meant to help each other," she said, her voice clear and full of conviction. "I think they'd be happy to see how many people are being helped now." Her smile shone brightly, radiating the pure joy of a 7-year-old who has discovered the light after a long and challenging journey. The dogs, with their unwavering loyalty, knew this truth all along. They remind us of the love and support that surrounds us. As applause filled the air, Martha Thompson enveloped her granddaughter in a warm embrace, tears of pride sparkling in her eyes. "Your parents would be so proud," she whispered. And Emma nodded, gently stroking Max's head with the serene confidence of a child who has emerged from darkness into the light. Together they stood as a testament to the incredible bond shared between them and the community that had rallied to protect them all. In our later years, we often find ourselves reflecting on what truly matters. Emma's journey teaches us that healing can come in the most unexpected forms and that it's never too late to embrace redemption and second chances. Like many of us, Ellen carried burdens of regret that felt too heavy to bear, mistakes that seemed to define her. Yet in facing the truth, she learned a powerful lesson. Acknowledging our failings can be a courageous step toward healing, not just for ourselves, but for those we may have hurt along the way. The bond between Emma and her dog beautifully reflects the unconditional love we share with those who stand by us during our darkest hours. It reminds us that family is not solely defined by blood, but by those who guide us through life's storms without judgment. As we navigate the challenges of life, let us remember that true wisdom is found not in avoiding difficulties, but in learning to dance in the rain, sometimes alongside companions who may not speak but understand our hearts completely. I hope you enjoyed today's inspiring story. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more uplifting tales. Leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep shining.